The massive financial black hole that NHS London faces, which now is predicted at nearly 5 million across the whole of London, will leave Islington and our neighbouring North London authorities with projected savings, or should I say cuts, to NHS services of anything up to 500 million. And these sorts of devastating cuts are going to really affect Islington residents.
Is the Labour government out of their minds? Is the NHS out of their minds? Where will it stop?
I remember saying to people often when my children were very small, given my husband's sane but relaxed approach to raising boys and risk-taking, how very glad I was that the A&E was only 5 minutes walk away, and still am. And many other people locally have been telling me similar stories over the past couple of weeks. What I have yet to understand is, if the Labour government is so serious about reducing health inequalities, why is more money notionally going to an acute service in NW3 than to an acute service in N19? How is that reducing inequalities? If this government is at all serious about health inequality, we should see investment coming to North Islington, not leaving it. With all respect to the people of Barnet and Hampstead, we need to see better health services solving our very significant health problems right here, not 5 miles away.
In a borough with terrible inequalities in health, terrible inequalities, the idea, the notion that we should do away with an A&E service in the north of the borough is absolutely disgusting. I think it's a disgrace. I think this ill-thought-out strategy must be stopped, because once it becomes, and I understand there are 4 options, and none of them include an A&E at the Whittington, and I know from my experience in the NHS, once it becomes worked up into an option, you know, options, they're on the paper, I can tell you, it's very, very hard to reverse.
And it's a battle that we have had here in Islington before, very sadly. Those members and activists that were around in the 90s would have been at the barricades objecting and campaigning to save Bart's Accident and Emergency Unit.
Before the 97 election, Islington Labour pledged to reopen the A&E unit at the Bart's Hospital. That pledge still remains unfulfilled and broken. How can we trust Islington Labour to defend the NHS when they can't even live up to their promises?
As anybody that lives on the dreadful Archway gyratory will testify, and I live right on it. If you sit there and watch the sirens at midnight, going round and round the place. The Whittington is one of the most used hospitals, as far as I can see, in North London. With connections from all points of the compass. The ambulances pass me quite regularly down St John's Way, so they're coming in from Haringey. I see them coming up the Holloway Road. I see them coming down Junction Road.
In my ward, there are very many vulnerable people, the elderly, disabled, mentally ill, and young children. And it would take at least an hour by the C11 bus, by car, taxi, whatever you want to call it, unless you go by helicopter.
That it is exceedingly difficult, as Councillor Burgess pointed out, to make that jump across to Hampstead for anyone living in Islington. And so therefore, the whole idea of closing the Whittington casualty just fills me with dread. And the point was made about ambulance times and everything. Anybody that's cycled, driven, walked up and down the Holloway Road, come in on the Archway Road, and so on and so on. How long are ambulances going to take from UCH, where they're, as far as I can see, the only way out for them to come over to this side of the borough would be through the back doubles coming onto Dartmouth Park Hill, or round the top through Spaniards. And anybody that's been on the 210 bus will know what can happen up at the Spaniards. The whole idea of the Royal Free replacing casualty is ridiculous. The whole idea of UCH replacing casualty, well, how many of you have sat in the underpass at the Euston Road? I rest my case. We have to stop this. This is madness.
And we need to come to the aid of the Whittington and save Whittington's life. Thank you.